Hello everyone and welcome to the next episode in the Bash programming series. Today we will take a look at flow control in Bash, boolean logic, and case and if statements. But before we start, we have to talk about exit codes. Each program returns some kind of exit code after it finishes that tells us if it executed correctly. 0 means that the program executed properly, and anything else means that something went wrong. To return some kind of exit code from our program, we have to use the exit command. For example, exit 30. Now if I run our script, nothing happens, but I can get the exit code of the latest command by using the dollar and the question mark symbols. And we get 30. Now this only goes up to 255 because the exit code is an 8-bit integer. So if I try to exit 300, I get 44, which is not what I wanted. If I try to create a directory, well, we see that it succeeded. And if I try again with the same name, you get cannot create directory, their file exists. And I get an exit code of 1, which means that something went wrong. Okay, so now that we know the basics behind the exit codes, let's move on to boolean logic. Well, to test if a statement is true in Bash, we can use the test command. For example, I can check if the directory dir exists just by using something like this. And we get 0, which means that it actually exists. If I try something like blah blah blah, it does not exist, it returns 1. Test can also be used as a single square bracket. If I do this, it will be pretty much the same. Well, if we want to compare two numbers together, things are quite different here from normal programming languages. Compare two integers, we have to use the dash equal symbol. Let's display. Okay, we get 0, where 30 is equal to 30. Let's try maybe 25 smaller or equal than 12. No such file or directory. And again, this does not work because this is a special kind of character. Instead of using this smaller or greater sign, if you use dash less than, greater than, or similar flags. If we check the manual for test, we can see here all of the expressions that we can create. And we see that this is false. Okay, but there's one more way to compare stuff in Bash, and that is by using the double square brackets. And it's very similar to the test command, but not quite. Double brackets is a shell built-in, and it's more modern than using the test command and has more features and more similar syntax to other languages. We will discuss those differences shortly. Okay, let's create a simple program that will tell us if the cat is fat or not. Okay, let's write some if statements. If our conditional expression exits 0, a block of code will execute, but if it exits anything else, it won't. Now this may be counterintuitive, because in most programming languages, 0 is false and 1 is true. In Bash, however, due to the nature of exit codes, it is the reverse. Now, be careful, because here we have to keep spaces before and well after our expression here. Now, after if, we have to use the then keyword, and then to finish our block, use phi. Okay, if the cat weighs less than 4 pounds, we can write tiny cat. And here we get nothing. Let's maybe add one more echo statement that says end of program. Okay, we can add multiple ifs together using the else if command. Okay, so if the cat is 4 pounds or weighs more, our next block of code here is going to execute. Now we get medium cat. Okay, let's add 2 more blocks. Now else, if the cat is 22 pounds or weighs more, let's echo real Tonka. Okay, but there's one problem in our program. If I enter a string instead of a number, I still get a tiny cat, even though that doesn't make much sense. You have to somehow check if the variable weight is a string or a number. Well, there are at least 2 ways that I know. First one, and in my experience the simplest one, is to use the dash equal operator. If we check the test manual, we can see that the dash equal only compares integers, not strings. To compare strings, we have to use the equal sign, not the dash eq. So now if I run this program and input ABC, the exit code is 2, which means that something went wrong. And now we can do something like if the exit code is not equal to 0. And we can exit our program. Let's try now. Whoops, I forgot about the space here. Not a number. And it accepts normal numbers. Okay, nice. And a different way is to use a regular expression. I'm going to talk more about regular expressions in a future video about grep, but it basically checks for patterns in our text. To use regular expressions, we can use the equals tilde operator. And now if our text begins with a minus optionally and at least 1 digit and then ends, we can say not a number and exit 1. And of course negatives, because it checks if this is a number, not you know what I mean. And it works. Nice. Okay, next I would like to show you the differences between single brackets and double brackets. Okay, let's declare a few variables first. Now, in the expression with double brackets, we can use the conditional and like in most programming languages. And echo, you are probably Albert Einstein. Oops, this should be a dollar sign. And here I'm in 1879. Okay. Because this was the year that Albert Einstein was born in. Now, using the test command or the single brackets, if I were to copy this, and just remove a bracket from each end, I get a missing sign error. Now to fix this, I have to encapsulate all of those conditional expressions in their own square brackets. Now it's okay. And another important difference is the handling of spaces in strings. For example, let's say I have a string that says hello world. Now in the double brackets, I don't have to cover that variable with double quotes. Hello world 1. Okay. Now if I remove this square bracket, I get too many arguments. So to fix this, we just have to quote the a variable here. Okay, and the thing you've seen well before is using the regex comparison. In the test command, there is no such thing. We get our binary operator expected. And if we use the shell built-in, it works. This just checks if the string hello is anywhere here. We can also remove this. Nice. Okay, next let's see how the switch case in other languages looks like in Bash. Well, in Bash there is no such thing as switch case. It's only case. Let's create a program that will tell us from which country a certain car brand is from. Okay, this is how a case block looks like in Bash. If our variable car brand is equal to any of those, it will display German car. Well, let's also read our car brand, and I would like it to be case insensitive. So we can use the shell expansion we've covered in the previous episode. And this will change all of the letters to lowercase. Let's add more examples. Okay, nice. If we use an asterisk instead of normal values, this is the default case if our variable does not match any pattern here. We get unknown country. And one more thing worth mentioning is that if the car brand has a space, well, we have to double quote it. If I remove this, we get an error, syntax error near unexpected token motors. Okay, so that would be it for this episode. In the next one, we will talk about arrays and loops. So stay tuned and thanks for watching. Goodbye.